All right, one, two, three. Let's get rolling. What's going on, everyone? We're back again with another recap session for this week. Pretty crazy out there. Market is finally showing signs of flash crash, and we're going to have fun for at least a few months, in my opinion. As you guys know, um, everything in I mean we're in this bear market and recession situation. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. You just have to be careful and know what to do, what to do exactly, and then have have a right strategy. Because even in this bear market, you can still make so much money, and that's the beauty of the trade. So I'm just gonna go over, as always. I'm just gonna go over all the trades for this week. This week was crazy in small cap, and as you can guys see, I mentioned in the last video, when a bear market happens and the mid cap, large caps are dropping, pay close attention to small caps because there are opportunities that you can take on both sides, long and short. Because smart money is they want to hedge their investments in the small cap. So when they do that, they just want to quickly make money from small cap, pump and dump it, and recoup on their losses, basically on large caps. So that's always the idea. That's the psychology behind it. It's been always the case, but you should not always rely on this fact that, oh, okay, if market is dropping, you just have to focus on small cap, everything's gonna go up. No, that's not the case. You just have to know what exactly you're doing. SPY is going to 380 while I'm talking. This thing is crazy, man. Today, wow, wow. We're Yep. Just get ready for the you know, for more. And Tesla, this thing is crazy. Last week Friday, I made a big mistake, but luckily I closed all my position on that call for the Tesla. Small loss, but if I considered it to hold for longer, it would be way more. But I don't do that. I'm just a day trader, and I stick to my rules, stick to my strategy. But Tesla, it's been crazy. So I'm just not. I'm just gonna go over all the trades that we had really quick. But I'm going to start from the top one today and yesterday, which was SIGA. This thing was beauty from yesterday and today. I mean, if you even swing this baby, you can see. I mean, if you have your levels and um, um, chart set up and your line set up, you basically can um, predict this. This was very easy to predict on the long side and on the short side. But I mean, pretty much today, all the shorts got squeezed, and I had this long bias on it from yesterday. So it's a multi-day runner, but don't get too FOMO on it, and don't believe all the movements that happen. At the end of the day, all these crappy companies and basically manipulated company, they're going down. So you don't want to really swing this all the way, you know, to the end. That's not recommendable. But if you have your plan, if you think there is opportunity and if there is value in it, by all means, do what's best for you. But I don't suggest that. As an experienced trader, I know where all these pumpers end up. But we don't care. We just took our profit at the end of the day. I personally do. I hope that you guys do too. Yeah, Seago is crazy. So today I'm just gonna go over some tips and recommendation for the current market. And if you're a beginner, you better understand this. Even if you're an intermediate or advanced trader, you you should always consider sizing. Well, so I'm going to talk about sizing, how to size in this market, and how to be cautious and selective when it comes down to your trades. So pretty quick, we don't really. I mean, I personally don't size in big for this market because I know my edge. I know um, what's best for me. But that exactly I mean um, that's really depend on you. Like what exactly you want to what size you want to trade in. But keep that in mind. If you have a bigger account but you don't have enough experience, and if you go big on a size, it's definitely hard to manage for you, and you can just easily wipe out your account. You don't want that to happen. That's why I always recommend if people ask me what's the best size or what's account to start trading small caps. I mean, it depends on you. You can obviously start with 5K, which is I think it's very normal to have and start with. Or if you have 25K above, you really want to consider that PDT rule and make sure um, what a strategy you use, and you kind of like not just gambling, because that's toxic. That is very dangerous. I know a lot of people wiped out their account, liquidated their account, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know. I mean, this is not just Wall Street bet. This is a full time job if you consider it. Even as a part time job, you have to be reasonable in your trade. Um, yeah. So I think I mentioned. Yeah, I think I mentioned this one 200% today, but I think it's 27%. I just realized that this is 27%, not 200%. But even in this market, a stock that can run up this much on a low float, 27%, and if you have a good sizing on it, you can make a fortune, and you know how to do it. So yeah, Seagull, we played it last yesterday. Beautiful, and I just left some share for the pop to the. I mean, very few, and I had my stop loss at a very tight area. So even if it's hit, I will come out with profit. So think about when I mentioned in the chat the SL, move your SL. Basically, what I mean by that is just move it to the area that you are still in the profit on that play, and you don't want to you want to put your SL lower than your average, because I mean you can essentially do that, but that's a wrong way of doing it. I can go through all that in if you want to just DM me, and then I can guide you how to do it. But yeah, sizing on these plays. I mean these are higher prices considered, but lower cap and lower float. So it's pretty dangerous when it comes down to like making sure your size is right, and you can take a profit if it's liquidated, and if it's a trade that you can scale in and out. That's what I basically do nowadays. I mean, it's better to not go big on one size, and just hold it, not taking profit, or not getting out, or get back in at the right area, or add up or average up. These are the key things that every trader must know. Otherwise, you're just holding something at one certain area. Like when I mentioned, we're gonna go on 925, for example, on Sega. I don't mean that you have to like hold it from that area and then not taking profit, or not adding. I don't suggest adding at the bottom. I always say that I don't suggest adding at the huge drop, because if you don't know what exactly your plan is, you might end up holding the bag, and you don't want that happen to you. But it's always good to cut it and re-enter at the right entry. If you feel like your entry is a bad average, change it. You can easily scale in and out. But I mean, if you jump in with the size, it would be a lot difficult to do that. So I always suggest, if you in this market condition, start very small, and then when you see confirmation, just add in and let it just ride, let it just exhaust, and then when you see, I mean, if you see your level two, if you guys want to know about level two, I can certainly teach you guys how to scan it and look at it. But a lot of people don't really see the level two in a way that it's very useful, and that's really a problem for a lot of people, just hanging there looking at the candle to just turn red or green and then make a decision. That's very toxic. You don't want to do that. You just want to stick to your level two, your lines, and just follow along. And that's how the any trades should be done. But yeah. So you see this area, and then you let it just exhaust, and then if you want to just jump into maybe like a short, you have to have a reason for it. I mean, we can see the trend lines almost done. I mean, from here, the crack happened, the head and shoulder pattern set up, and that's it. Just flush down, and pretty much in the afternoon, uh, these are the deep buyers. These are the bag holders. They want to average up and exit their position. You can also take this as another opportunity and just write it up. I mean, I don't recommend to do this much hard. I mean, unless if you're in the power lunch, and but this one was rocky. I mean, look at it. Today we just ripped off to 11. I mentioned that I want to see $10 on this, and you know um this thing just show that I mean, it has enough volume today, especially to just rip it off to the 10. I mean, I know a lot of people will try to short at that 11. It was very dangerous edge to jumping short. Beautiful trade. Unfortunately, I couldn't alert you guys for today. I was very focused on it, and I missed the alert on the chat. But whoever takes it, I'm sure he's or she happy with the trade. So yeah, take your profit. Don't back hold, and that's the idea of day trading. Anyway, let's go to the next one. We had better trades before Siga. We had DPSI. We killed this one. This one was a great runner, and I think when was it? I think it was 18th, right? We have to go back. Yeah, DPSI. Oh my God, this one. I alerted at 7, then we went to 12. So you know, if you pay close attention to the areas, and but this one was very tricky because it was low flow, low volume at the beginning, and um, it's just exhausted and then halt up and down. Very dangerous and tricky to get filled on these. So you have to have a very quick setup. Like if you use hotkeys, if you use the Stream Deck, it will definitely help you to just jump into the right um, trend. That's what I saw. $7 was my area, and then we just ripped off, and I took profit after the halt, and then it halt down back to the area. Just hold this 768 660 6.82, and then 7 area. And then after here I saw um just massive volume just kicked in, and there was nothing else to move. So you have to consider other plays too. I put the watch list. If you pay attention to those tickers, those are the ticker of the day. So those are the main small cap tickers on a day. So you want to focus on them, um, and just put them on your other chart and see which one has the better volume and which one is probably going to move higher if you want to trade long. But out of all of those tickers that I mentioned, DPSI was the winner, and I saw that huge volume just coming in because there was very little. The volume was very thin, but the float was very low. So every small share could move this stock higher, and that happened. And that's why I anticipated, took advantage of it, and it was very beautiful. This was the bigger win of the week, and hopefully you guys enjoy it too. And after that, at the end, you just don't want to really rely on it. I mean, there are short sellers just ready to hammer this, and that eventually happened on all these tickers. Eventually, they all go down. Keep that in mind. But if you're on the right side, you can take advantage on the long and take advantage on the short side. But usually these stuff are hard to borrow. You have to have a good brokerage, not TD or E Trade or beginner, uh, um, beginners kind of brokerage. You have to have it like a really advanced and day trader, like Guardians, CMEG, brokers to be able to borrow. And that's another topic. I'm not gonna go through it. And if you want to know, DM me. I'll be happy to just have a one-on-one session with you and then go through it. So DPSI was crazy, and before DPSI, I think we had DPSI and then PPSI and DKNG. DKNG was tricky. I was personally I took a loss on the DKNG the first play, and then the second play I just make a small profit out of it after the first loss. But first of all, let's go to the PPSI. PPSI was one of those tricky small play, very quick, and I just wanted to see if we can fill the gap, and it tried few times. I grab all the I mean pretty much every gap that was filled. I was behind that, and then I alert you guys that PPSI play at 4, and then we just hit to 420, and double. This just created double top and then rejected. So these I personally, when I see so many upvicks, just kind of like take it out and run away. I don't want to really see too much of the double top, upper wick, and then massive drop, because you can see there's a big seller at this area. It just he just want to drop this down. He just want to drive this thing down and kill it. If you know how to look at your level 2, you can also see that big seller that coming in. So you want to be careful when you're on the long side, and if you have a good average, just take your profit out of it. It doesn't worth to just shine it and wait for the break. I mean, it could potentially happen, but in this case, it just created that double top, triple top actually, four top, which was first at the 4 a.m. and then here, as you can see in the pre-market, once before the market open, and then flush down. That was the confirmation of just this thing won't go, and you just have to make sure what area you are in. And in my opinion, when the stock is on earning, like on that day, usually you can go higher. I was expecting this to go higher, break that for 410 and 420. But unfortunately, you know, it's always the case, and it's good to have your stop loss in the area that you are in, and know how to exit. Have your plan B and plan A. I mean, plan A is always not the case. I always mention plan B is the key thing. Is the best trader, the best successful trader have a better plan B than plan A. So yeah, I'm just not gonna talk a lot about this stuff. Lastly, we traded DKNG, and as you can see on the PPSI, the next day multi-day runner, we just had this confirmation to the to the 420 again, and it's just it couldn't. But eventually did it today, and then finally crack at 43, which was just another exhaust area. And volume is very thin. You don't want to really trade this. Lastly, DKNG. I really wanted this thing to trade accordingly to me, which happened today because the SPY is going down. My main focus on this was the SPY channel. So I overlay. I mentioned in the group overlay the SPY chart and trade your DKNG. There's no way that you could trade DKNG without looking at your SPY. I mean the S&P 500. That's what I was looking all the time. I mean, you cannot really rely on the chart only on DKNG. But gapped filled and news came out. That was the problem with the DKNG short play. The first one didn't work out. It was quick. I took a small loss, and then the second one I took a very small profit. So after that, I didn't really play it. We just I just grabbed whatever I could, and then I saw this news came out, the PR came out, and SPY was just ripping, and DKNG hold that 1380 14, and the next day went up to 1466 and kept on holding to through the I think it was Thursday, and then as you can see Friday it's a flush. I mean, it's better to have them on your watch list for a few days, multi-day runs. But this was a mid cap. This wasn't a small cap. I mean, personally, I wasn't um, really wanted to trade mid caps or large cap because the I mean the only reason that I traded mid cap was just small cap was very dry that day, and I couldn't really find a good setup for me. And I was focusing on DKNG because the setup was there and I liked it. But when the PR came out, I was like, no, we cannot trade this short anymore. But if you took it long, you should be good. You should be very good on that play, make more profit out of it. But the short play was very quick and small, and personally didn't like it. I thought it could go down more, but it's not always like could have, should have. You should not always say that, and make sure you have a right plan for it. And if you put it in your watch list, you can see that this multi-day runners usually end up exhaustion. I mean, as you can see, 14.6 was the max resistance here. It's just exhausted and then finally crack. Yeah, I mean that's about it. Pretty simple if you put it in the watch. I'm gonna wrap it up here for this week's session. I mean recap session. Pretty crazy. Market is very choppy. Be careful. As you can see, SPY is still going down. You just don't want to really be on the long side at this time. And speaking of sizing, the size of your trade is very important. Doesn't matter if the market is in a good condition or is in a bad condition. You have to have a right sizing. Otherwise, you just, like I mentioned, you just keep gambling and you don't know, oh, okay, if this is a good size or not. And you have to make sure the average that you're trading, it makes sense, and the stock that you're trading, it makes sense. It's something that um at the end of the day, you're not gonna be sad about it. You just don't. You just want to have a Tinder relationship with these small caps. I'm just talking about small caps. You should not love them. These are very difficult. You have to rely on the supply and demand. If there is no supply and demand, do not trade it. It's very dangerous and tricky. And yeah, that's about it. I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Do not trade too much on this market. Doesn't worth it. I mean, I personally didn't even trade except Siga today, and I'm just taking baby steps on all these trades. I don't really want to go heavy. I don't want to go crazy. It's just it is what it is. In order to be consistent, in order to think about trading as a full time, you have to have this type of mindset. Otherwise, you want to keep trading every single day, and if nothing going towards your plan, you're not going to be consistent. You're not going to be successful at it. So that's the idea. Keep that in mind. Be careful out there. It's very dangerous in this market, and hope you guys, and as always, it is a pleasure to be part of Flash Fund. Reach out to me if you have any questions. If you want to do one-on-one session, DM me, or you can email me, or reach out to one of the admins and moderators. They can help you out. That's it. I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Hope you guys enjoyed and have a wonderful day and weekend.